Well, good morning, everybody. Today I will be taking your class on the topic respiration. Before the class, I hope you all are well, taking care of your health, and also running through the various topics which has been put up in the various groups. So keep in touch with the various subjects, so we should not lag behind when the school reopens. So as you know that we already have covered the topic digestive system in the class before the school closes out. Today I will take up a topic respiration, and respiration means the food that we have consumed and turned something called chyle in intestine is finally absorbed in the blood and runs into the liver, and then from the liver goes into the blood and finally wind up at this junction in the form of glucose. And here our topic for the day begins. So glucose is the 6 carbon molecule carbon compound, and it has to be broken down into the mitochondria or used up in the mitochondria to release energy. So this topic we are going to study today under the heading called cellular respiration. So write it down, cellular respiration. So I will prefer that you should be sitting with your textbook and copies together. So whatever I'm putting up on the small screen here, you can write it down. So let's begin this topic, cellular respiration. So as the name suggests, that this respiration will occur at the cell level. So the various headings under this, here we will use the word assimilated food, which has to be used in the topic, because this is the food ultimately which we are going to break it down on oxidation. So this assimilated food is oxidized to get energy for various LP, means life processes, as well as to maintain or to get the materials for the body growth and repairment of cells. So these are two good things that you should know, that why the food has to be broken down. So in initial step, the first step you can call it, this glucose molecule. So please check out your book and page number 102. Take it out so it will be easier for you. This glucose molecule in cytosol. So this is the liquid component of cytoplasm, is being acted upon and undergoes a process called, and that should be known to you because this process is quite important for this whole mechanism, called glycolysis. Okay, just read the name, glycolysis. So lysis means to break glucose. So in order to break glucose, we use this process glycolysis. So this glycolysis this process takes place in cytosol of a cytoplasm. Okay, and the glucose, which is a 6 carbon molecule, is converted into 3 carbon molecule called pyruvate. So write down the formula for this pyruvic acid or pyruvate. So write down CH3, then COOH, and with C put a molecule O with it. So we study about all this thing in chemistry in due course of time. For the time being, write the word pyruvate and with the formula like that. And the fate of this pyruvate for further process depends upon the factor absence and presence of oxygen. So before we further move, so you should know in the absence of oxygen, we have process called anaerobic respiration, okay? And for the, say, presence of oxygen, you have a process called aerobic respiration, okay? So first let us see the process called in the absence of oxygen. So that is anaerobic, okay? So if oxygen is not available, this pyruvic acid or pyruvic acid is broken down in the form of, again check out the page 102. In yeast, it breaks up into ethanol. So write down the formula for ethanol, that is CH2, and complete the formula for this CH3CH2OH. So ethanol in the yeast cell, okay, and under the enzyme called zymase. So write it down, the word zymase properly. Right, and the first equation you can call it, with carbon dioxide and some amount of energy is also released, okay. So that all happens in the yeast cell, okay. And in case of our muscle cells, the same pyruvate is broken down into a compound called lactic acid, okay. Check out the word lactic acid, and again write down the formula for lactic acid, CH3CH, COOH, and at the base OH. And this lactic acid again is a 3-carbon molecule, and with the release of some amount of energy, no problem for that. And this is this lactic acid which ultimately build up in muscles over a period of time and form the muscular cramps that you might have heard in various athletic field, okay. But the major chunk of the respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen, called aerobic respiration, so that is the main part of us. And this aerobic respiration takes place in, of course, mitochondria, and here the pyruvate break up into carbon dioxide with water and a major chunk of energy released in the form of, you should know, and some of you might be also knowing it, called ATP, that is adenosine, ADENOSINE triphosphate, okay. So this is the main energy that we require for our various activity in the life processes. So this is somewhat a brief illustration for cellular respiration. And before I wind up this topic of CR or cellular respiration, you just write it down, the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, okay. So write the definition in the format or the difference in the format that normally we let you know. Draw a tabular line and write one side aerobic respiration, other side anaerobic respiration. So for aerobic respiration, write down the first point. It takes place in the presence of oxygen. Write in brief, and otherwise afterward you elongate it. Other side you write in the absence of oxygen. Then second point for aerobic respiration, you write that glucose is completely broken down to produce energy and carbon dioxide and water. While other side you write glucose is partially broken down, yeah, incompletely oxidized to form ethanol, check out the spelling from the book, and lactic acid, we have just told you. Then third point you can write on the side of aerobic respiration that energy released is in very large amount, so energy released is large. That side you write energy released is in a lesser amount. And then for fourth point, because I have told you have to write minimum of 4 points, so the fourth point you can write it. It takes place, the aerobic respiration takes place in cytoplasm and mitochondria, okay? And in that case, anaerobic respiration, it only takes place in cytoplasm. So here the mitochondria is not involved at all. So just go through this presentation properly and take the help of the textbook. Next time we will meet shortly, and then we will study about the respiratory system in human beings. Before that, I will put up a video on this, so look into that carefully. Then we will take up the whole process. Have a nice time. Good luck.